Good day, Power Couples. This is Carlos and Katherine Green of Power Couples Rock.
Hey, what's up, power couples?
And guess what? We're
We're
back.
back.
It has been a while, community, and we are so happy that we are back at this point. A couple of years ago, we were doing pretty regularly podcasts and we were doing live shows. We were really in a good space and we really appreciated all of the support, the love that we were getting. But then life happened.
Yeah, life happens.
And we started going through some things that we didn't know that we were going to be going through.
Right. Like like everyone else, life happens and you have to make adjustments. And one of the key words that we heard all through 2020, 21, 22 is pivot.
Pivot,
We
yeah.
had to pivot quite a bit. And before we went on our break, we were going to share a story about one of our experiences in purchasing a home. But yeah, we're going to share about that a
We
little bit
are. So
later.
we just want to just say that we are back as Power Couples Rock, and our mission is to create a community by developing purposeful pathways so that we can actually have masterful
Masterful
marriages.
marriages.
And that's what we're committed to doing. And it was, I think we had to work on where we are in life, in our space, and going through all of the challenges that we had leading up to this space. And I really feel like now that we're in a much better space, and we want to share that story with you all
Mhm.
about where we were. So, like I said, about 2.5 years ago, we were in another home and we were doing Power Couples Rock. We were doing the live shows. We were doing podcasts. We had another couple that they're absolutely phenomenal that was working with us.
Oh, yes, I missed the
We
stones.
missed the Stone. So shout out to Chris and Sonia
So,
Stone because they are absolutely incredible and amazing. And the community was growing richly in what we were having to offer. So if you all don't mind just indulging us for a few minutes as we take you through our journey of life happen, and we want to talk about where we've been
mhm.
and then where we're going
Right,
at this point,
right.
right?
Oh, yes, I love it. I love
I
it.
know.
I'm glad that we're back, Carlos, so that we can share our our
Story.
story that storage is involved in that. Let me tell you
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Mm-hmm.
just so that we can share and be transparent about
Right.
all of the challenges and successes also that we experienced over the last few years or while we have been away from our community. And I'm looking forward to sharing our story. Just want you to know our marriage is good. It's always been good. And that's because we have created a foundation and we've created our rhythms and we've been in those rhythms. But this last few years, something tried to throw our rhythm out, but we were still strong in our faith. And we just want to take this time to share that story with you.
So we were living in another home 2 to 2.5 years ago, and we felt at that point that God was saying, "Hey, you can move. You're pretty much empty nesters at this point." And what we were thinking about doing is just going to let's just go get a townhome.
Mhm.
It'll be very easy for us because we won't have any maintenance in the home, no yard work. We could be in a downtown location where the hustle and bustle of restaurants and theater and entertainment and parks and
Mhm.
just having our friends over so that they could just enjoy what God was giving us in that space. So we're like, let's just sell our home. And that to me was a great journey because when we decided that we wanted to sell our home, we
Mhm.
connected with our friends who were our
Mhm.
real estate agents.
Mhm.
And it was they came through the home. And I remember this, they came through our home. And when they walked through, they said, "Wow, you all don't have to do anything. to your home. There's
Mhm.
nothing you need to do. And you all know sometimes they're like, take those pictures down and make sure that it's neutral. Now, we did take the pictures down,
Mhm.
but we didn't have to repair anything. We didn't have to paint over anything. There was nothing. They were like, you all have maintained your home
Mhm.
extremely well.
Yeah, we've stewarded our home really well. I really like to honor God with our home and make sure that we do all the things that we need to do to keep it in good condition. And I really have to back up on this story, Carlos, because many, many, many years ago, a long time ago, as you all know, we've been married over 30 something years. So
Yes.
it's been a long time. And when we lived in Cincinnati, we had pulled out a picture. You
We
remember
did.
this?
Yes.
We had
Yes.
pulled out a picture of this home that we was so desiring to get and have built. And Carlos and I, we were like, okay, we're going to tear this out, and this is going to be one of our goals, and we're going to keep it in front of us. And the home really was so that couples could
Mhm.
come over and we could minister to them and we could just do life together.
Create a good space for them, a good environment where they can grow, be life-giving, be warm, be welcoming, all of that, right?
Yes, exactly. And I'm telling this story because I wanted to, when we decided to put our house on the market, how we came about on that was I found our home and I said, Carlos, are we going to do this? Are we still going to be looking at this home, or do I just need to go in and put it in the shredder? And we didn't give up on our dream. We just kind of like, okay, let's just go ahead and sell. It's that time.
Mhm.
And we felt led by God
Compelled.
to go ahead and sell the home. But we still kept that picture of that home.
Because that was still our heart. That was
Oh
still our
yeah,
dream.
absolutely, absolutely. It and really it was more to minister to couples. That was
Mhm.
the biggest thing. And I wanted to just kind of give them a little backstory, and then we could go into yes. Then we agreed. Let's sell.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we said we're going to sell, we were at, if you all remember, we're at the height of the market that it didn't matter what you put on the market, you were getting top dollar for it. I mean,
Mhm.
it was just going crazy. Like a 2-bedroom, half bath was going for like $300,000, if you remember that.
Oh, it was expensive. It
It
was
was
going
very expensive at that point.
exactly a very good timing for us to do that. And one of the things that really struck us as making sure that we were on the same page about that is when we said, okay, we're going to do it, we're going to sell, because the market was great, but it was still something that was a desire in our heart. And the thing about that is, I guess this is where we'll talk about we were going to downsize.
Mhm.
Yeah. Before we went on our hiatus from from taking a break, we talked about, hey,
Well,
we
we
got
really didn't know we were going to take a break from Power Couples Rock.
now you're
It's
right.
just life started to happen, and we
Exactly.
just did not have the capacity
That's true.
at that point to really keep up Power Couples Rock the way that we really wanted to. And it's
Yes.
always important for us to create quality for people to be able to do that.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's good. Thanks for saying that. But we had said we were going to downsize. When we said, let's put the house on the market, because as Carlos said a little bit, we were almost empty nesters. But we said, let's downsize then. That would
Hmm.
be great.
Hmm.
And find a community where there are parks, where we can walk, where we can just do life. Like he said, restaurants and all of that. Okay, get a small city feel. And we were like, it's that time. Let's do that. So that
Hmm.
was our mindset of downsizing.
That's correct. That
Mm-hmm.
was the mindset. So two things happened during that period of time. One is that once we put the house on the market, uh, our real estate agents were like, this house is going to sell pretty immediate. And at that point, we said, okay, before we really put it on the market, we're going to go ahead and find the space that we want to live in.
Mm-hmm.
We visited probably 6 or 7 different downtown communities, and we settled on one particular community downtown. And we went in and we put a contract down on the townhome that we wanted to live in. We thought it was great, 3 stories with 3 to 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, great balcony, great location, the whole 9 yards. We put our deposit down, signed the agreement, start picking out what we wanted in the townhome. So
Yes.
this is before we even sold our home. So we did that. And then after we had signed the contract, we put our house on the market to sell. Again, the real estate agent said, this is going to sell really quick. We had an open house one weekend, and that was the weekend that we said, we're going to go out of town and we're just going to spend that weekend ourselves. We were probably, at that point, we probably was getting we had anywhere from 30 to 40.
Oh, yeah, about 30 to 40 something offers.
Reservations.
Oh,
I'm talking about
reservations
people
to
come
come.
through and
Oh,
see the
yes.
home.
Oh, yes.
And it was crazy because we were leaving that either Thursday morning or Friday morning, and the real estate agent called you, and because we had several people that wanted to come in the home, because we're going to show the home starting at noon.
Right.
Because we were going to be leaving before then. And the real estate agent had called us because several people had come and say, can we see the home before noon? And my wife was adamant, no, we are not showing this home before noon because we're trying to get ready to go out of town and we're packing and we want to make sure that we're all set. We literally had cars circling our home, circling our cul-de-sac before we left, because they wanted to be one of the first ones there to see the home. And it was a little bit overwhelming because we did not expect that many people that wanted to see the home.
Yeah.
So we left, we go out of town. 2 days later, she calls back and says, okay, I think we could shut this down now. You've got like 27 offers on your home.
It was 27, but it was like 38. It really went up to 38. And she was more like, we have to close this out because my phone is dinging all night, all
the
day.
time. Like, what?
And really, soon as we kind of hit the road, because I was getting tagged, since she was copying me on it and had my email or my phone number or something, and I was getting like showing all these people. And I was just like, I'm going to cut this off. And so she was calling me, and she said, listen, before you guys even come back for the week, we are shutting this down because we had already had so many offers on the table that she said, I think we have enough that we can look at. And we were like, okay, let's go for it. And it was a beautiful thing because I remember as we were going out of town, we had one of our small group couples call us. One of their family members was looking for a home, and they actually asked them to go see this home that just came on the market.
Yes.
And we didn't tell anybody about it because we just didn't. I mean, we just was going through the process. And so one of the couples in our small group, one of the couples in our small group called us and said, I got a question to ask. Are you guys moving?
Exactly. Are you moving?
And we said, yes. And they said, are you moving out of state? And we said, no, that's not our plan to move out of state. And they kind of shared with us that the reason why they had called us because one of their family members had been trying to move in the area, and they wanted them to look at this house. And they looked at the house and said, well, now that's Carlos and Catherine's house. I'm going to call them. And it ended up and they weren't they said, we're not trying to push our family on you or anything like that. I said, no, it's fine. I said, now if they offer the right price, but I said, no, we don't necessarily have to have the highest bidder. We really want people to come in that will value that home because we stewarded our home very well. And we just wanted a family to come in, and we knew our neighbors, and we just didn't want anybody in there. And we prayed about that. And it really, really worked out to its advantage. His family member ended up purchasing the home. It was just a sweet deal. They are a sweet family.
Oh, love it.
And they've invited us back into the home and
We've been there, right? We've
yes,
been
and
back in the
showed me
home,
around, showed us around,
and they've
and
actually enhanced
done
the
some,
home even more.
they've done some great things in there. And I was just like, oh, this is so sweet and lovely that we can really come back and connect with the family. It was hard to leave because I was so emotional.
Yeah, we
when
were
I
almost
was
there. We were over there. We were there for over 15 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was really sweet because we were able to give it to a family that not give, but to sell to a family that we knew valued family,
Mhm.
and we knew valued community, and it just
And
did our
value
heart.
God.
Yeah, it just
Their relationship with God was so
yeah,
important.
yeah. So it did our hearts good. So that was kind of what transpired with the home being
And I
sold.
wanted to say this too, even though we sold it to that family, which I'm so grateful that we did because we are friends with them. We've hung out with them. We've been over to the home again, which has been awesome. But with all of the offers that came in, we were really praying about which offer to go with. And it's so amazing that we did not go with our highest offers that we had. We really went through a systematic, prayerful process, purposeful process to say, God, who would be best in this home for us? So we wanted to make sure that it was fair across the board with whoever was going to get this home. And it just so happened to be this amazing family. And again, it wasn't the highest bidder
Oh
that
no,
actually
but
received the
no, it
home at
was
all.
not. It really was not. But it was all about just what it. Our spirits just connected with this, and
Mhm.
I love that. And I love when I could go back and when we could go back
Yeah. And I
and
love
see
that when
it.
we turned it over to God, God really, the Holy Spirit was really showing us where we needed to go, how we would make our decisions. We were asking for wisdom in that space to be able to do that. And that transaction went through seamlessly. It
Oh
really did.
my
So
God.
remember, we put a contract down on a townhome and now we've sold our home. At that point, we've moved out and we've got our furniture and all of our materials in storage,
Storage.
and we're living in the basement of this amazing family as well.
Mm-hmm.
They were so gracious to allow us to live in their basement while our property was getting
Being
built
built. Mm-hmm.
at that point. And we're like, okay, we can do this. It's really just three of us because our son hadn't completely moved out yet, but we'll make it work. If that's the sacrifice that we'll do in order to live in our dream home, we'll make that work.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out so well that they were great landlords for us, and we were making sure that we were honoring that space. We would not we wanted to make sure that we honored their privacy. We kept their space clean. uh, our goal was to leave their basement better than when we found it, because again, we believe in stewarding spaces very well, and we believe that's a requirement that God has asked of us, that wherever we go, if we're leaving spaces better off than when we found them, then God will have favor on us and will bless the people that we've been stewarding that space from.
It was very interesting that that door opened up because it was temporary space. It was a temporary space for us, and it was just what we needed. And we learned to make the adjustments of being on one level with each other and sharing a restroom with our youngest son. Oh my
We were in a
God.
tiny home.
Yeah.
We were literally in a tiny home, one bathroom, which is fine. One
Yeah, we were
bathroom,
blessed with
kitchen.
that.
We really was.
It was just sharing a bathroom with an adult child. Well, no, he's not an adult child, but
Not adult.
he's an
adult.
adult.
He's an adult, not an adult
But
child.
he's your child. And sharing that, it just like reminded me, like, wow, I'm so grateful to have my own restroom, my own bathroom, because
Okay, so here's what I was not this is probably a little not TMI, but the way that the bedroom was situated, there were 4 twin beds
right.
in the bedroom. So we were really sleeping by ourselves
Yeah, we was
individually, like Lucy and Desi
there.
Arnaz. We were really doing that for a while. But if we wanted to sleep together, we had to sleep in the twin bed together, which was tight.
Yes, but
But
it
we
was
made it
kind of
work.
like
It's kind of
fun.
cool, kind of neat to
It was
do
kind
something
of
like
neat.
that.
We would laugh about that. We were just creating memories in our friend's basement, and that was really cool. But we were grateful that
We were so
they were
grateful.
available. We were supposed to stay there for a shorter period of time
Hmm.
while the townhome was being built. That was the townhome was considered our downsize, right?
Hmm.
And then so we started saying, well, we're not just downsizing, we're right sizing
Hmm.
because it's going to be the right size for us and for our family and for our community. And that was so important. And we were excited about right
Very,
sizing.
very.
And then,
We felt like that was a space for us, and then all of a sudden things started spiraling out of control. We get a call from the builder as well as the real estate agent who was representing the builder, and they said that we could not honor your contract at that point because lumber had gone up, material costs had gone up, and now they would technically, I guess, lose money,
mm,
and they wanted us to come back with an additional down payment of approximately $65 to $70,000
mhm,
more. Yeah,
mhm.
you heard me right. Not 6,500, but 65,000 to $70,000 more in order to secure that property. And we said, no, we're not going to do that.
No,
And
that's when, yeah.
everything broke loose at that point. And that's when fear and anxiety and frustration and anger, all of those emotions started flooding in for us because we felt like that we had done everything that we needed to do. And when that came about, again, we're living in the basement of someone's home. We're very grateful, but it completely changed our mindset about what we needed to do because
Mm,
we tried to make some decisions about that, and we were going back and forth with them to say we have a signed contract. You have to honor that contract. But they kept trying to find loopholes in the
mhm.
agreement to get out of that. And we were sending them notes, writing them letters, and we eventually had to get an attorney to fight for us on our behalf to do that. And it was getting extremely stressful. And the reason why it was extremely stressful as well is because we were supposed to be out of the basement of that family's home in a certain period of time. Well, that builder and real estate agent kept pushing things back, saying, well, it's not going to be ready because we can't get the windows in until a month later. So we're going to move that back. Now we're going to move it back after a month. We're going to move it back 2 more months now because we're still waiting on lumber to come in. Oh, we're going to move it back even more now because of other materials that we can't get in. So it truly turned into like a 6 to 7 month process of them pushing the closing date back and
Mhm.
still fighting. We were still fighting, said, we're not going to pay you that amount.
Exactly. And we knew we had a good case because our attorney who looked at it was like, you have every right. You can, and I'm not involved in the legal system. I really don't know much about it, but we did have some good guidance on it. When all said and done, we stood on the right thing because we knew that we were in the right and that they were in the wrong. And eventually, after we've pushed and pushed, we agreed to settle on a certain amount with, giving all of our money back and then some, helping us cover the cost of getting an attorney on that. But in all of that, we never got angry at like each other during
Right.
that time.
Right.
We kept reassuring one another that we know God told us to sell our home. We know that for a fact. We just didn't know what we were going to go through in the process of that. But it allowed us to just see God's hand on that. And in the midst of us standing firm on what we knew was right, God began to open up another door for
Mm-hmm.
us. And this is what we call our God size
Uh-huh.
home. We, the individuals or the family we stayed with, um, they were talking to a neighbor around the corner, I should say, and the neighbor mentioned that their family wanted to sell their home, and the individuals that we were staying with said, "Well, we know a family that may
That's
be
looking for a
interested."
home.
Yeah,
Yeah. We know somebody.
look at. And he said, "I don't know if it'll work out, but I'll tell them." And he said, "Have them come over and look at it." And what happened?
And our landlord said, "Hey, why don't you guys go over and take a look at this home? Uh, Even if you don't want it, just take a look at it." And I was like, "We're not trying to get a home like that. We don't want that. We're trying to get into an easy space
Yeah.
in life. We don't want to do yard work. We don't, none of that." He said, "Well, just go and take a look at it. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it, but just walk in." So we go over, we make the appointment, we go over, we walk in the house, and I'm telling Catherine, I said, "Do not like this home. I don't care what happens. We're just doing it as a favor for this guy. Do
Mhm.
not like this home." We walk in, and our eyes got big, our mouth started dropping, and we're like, "Don't like this home, don't like this home, but that is really nice over there. Oh, I could see us in here, but we are not liking this home. Oh, this is a
Carlos
good
is not
space."
liking the home, but I had a peace of mind when I walked in the home. Let me tell you that. And it was like with every step we walked, I was like, "Wow, okay, I really like that. Okay, I really like
I
that."
thought, no, don't be liking that. Don't like that.
Oh my goodness. And it reminded us after I stepped back. Well, I don't want to get to the end first, but
Right.
let's go to
So
let's
then, so we like, "Thank you all for showing us the home. We appreciate it. You all are so nice." So then we go home, and I said, "I think it's just we hadn't been in a home that long, and so it's just exciting to be in that home now. But let's go back. It's been 3 days. Let's go back and just make sure." Because the guy didn't want to put it on the market. He was like, "If they're going to be a real buyer, then I can just bypass putting it on the market." I said, "Let's just go back then." And this time, Catherine, I'm gonna be really honest, don't like this home when we go back in. So we go back in, and it became even more obvious
Mhm.
that this was the home for us. We
Exactly.
felt like it was the home because everything, there was so much peace about it.
Mhm.
It flowed well, and we felt like that we could do ministry in this
Exactly.
home.
Mhm.
And then after that, we went through this process of trying to just saying, "Yes, we're going to do it. I'm going to make it short. Yes, we're going to try to purchase this home. We're going to do whatever we can to do it." But there were some challenges going back and forth as to how much they wanted, how much we were willing to spend. All said and done, we finally settled on what we felt like was very fair, and they were wonderful to work with. So
Mhm.
shout out to the previous owners. They were great to work with. Well, one night, I had spoken with the husband of the home, and we had made that agreement, but Catherine didn't know that we had made the agreement. And I had come home from bringing my son from work, and I said, "Oh my God, you got to come out here, Catherine. I think the car has been hit. I ran up on something, and I don't know how terrible it is, but just please come out here and just let's put a flashlight to it and see what's going on with it." She was like, "Are you serious?"
That really got on my nerves.
That was
I used to, what are
like,
you running up
well,
on?
yeah, what are you doing? So she comes out, and I said, "Oh, okay." We come out to the driveway, and I said, "Well, turn around and look there." And the lights from the back of the home was on. And I said, "Well, welcome to your new home. This is your new home. I have just made the agreement with the owners, and we're all set." And what did you do? How did you respond?
My mouth dropped. That's probably the first time I was speechless. And I just was like, "Stop lying. Quit, stop lying. Don't play with me." And that whole night, I don't know if you've ever been in a state of shock. It's this disbelief, like I cannot, unbelievable. Like I could not believe that happened. Cause I said, "God, I'm not going back and forth. I'm not doing all that stuff. You have to handle all of that." And when he said that, it stunned me for one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I was truly, truly happy about it. And I thought I was looking forward to us kind of moving in and getting in a home and getting settled. I also looked back at the home that we had tore out of that magazine or
Years ago.
newspaper years and years ago. And I started looking at the features that we wanted in a home. and the features of the home checked every box. It wasn't made the same way, but
Correct.
it checked every box, and it was more doable to our lifestyle and very conducive to the things that we like to do. And he just began to show, the Spirit of God began to show me that home you pulled out, never give up on the dream that I've
Mm,
put out in front of you. And had we just kind of tossed that paper to the side and shredded it, like I said, because I'm like, are we going to do this or not? But God was still in the details.
mm-hmm.
And he was showing me, and he reminded us when we signed the papers to this home, where he had been guiding our footsteps all along. And we needed to go through that process. We needed to downsize, but the downsize in our mind was not the same
Correct.
as what we thought. We downsized, all right. We downsized and lived with some neighbors in their
Mm-hmm.
basement. But then we were thinking about, okay, let's right size. And our right size, we were thinking, hey, the right size is going to be at the condo. It'd be just the right size for us. Ministry, we wouldn't have been able to do as much as we do now here, but we could have used the community a lot more. But then there's God's size, and his dream is so much bigger than what we could ever imagine. And I am, every day I walk, I'm just grateful. And we have touched so many couples
Mm-hmm.
that have come through our home
Mm-hmm.
as a result of us not giving up on the dream that God had for us a long time ago.
And 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 I would like to say, and I completely agree with you there. Um, I believe sometimes that we get in the space to where if it's frustrating to walk through, I just believe that what the enemy means for evil, God can turn it for our good.
Mm-hmm.
And if those things did not happen in that space regarding the townhome, and we didn't continue to trust God and have faith in that and listen to the Holy Spirit and ask for wisdom, then we truly could have missed what God was trying to give to us and how he was trying to bless us so that we could bless other people. And it's been such a, even financially, uh, with what God has been able to provide for us so that we're not house poor or anything like that. We want to be very generous in our giving. And so I just give God glory
Mm-hmm.
for all of the blessings that he has given us so that we can again bless other couples and other families.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's where we've been.
Uh-huh. And so I'm hoping that you're going to be able to see us going forward even more on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've been in this home for 2 years, I can't believe it's been two
Oh,
years
me
already.
either.
We've been in this home for 2 years, and we're in our studio now that we can continue to do our podcast. We're not going anywhere. We're hoping that you continue to join us in our journey to build masterful marriages. So thank you for listening to us today and being
Oh,
part of our story.
I appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to everyone who, all your prayers that you've prayed for us, and that that you listen and you continue to support us. And because you support us, we want you to get
Get
powered
powered up.
up.
That's great. So go follow us on Power Couples Rock on all our social medias, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate what you're doing and being a part of our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.